Hi everyone, how we doing? How we doing? Happy Mental Health Monday. Let's get to it. All right, everyone. So today's topic is to heal a wound, you have to stop touching it. All right, and I'm gonna put the topic in, put it in the comments. I did, Mama.
Hello. Yes, finally. Please, fingers crossed that it stays working. Fingers crossed. How are you? How was your weekend?
Very good, very good. What about you?
Can't complain. I had a really good time. I had a really good time. Went out this weekend with the fam. Really had a really good time. I haven't been out in a while, to that magnitude. So I had a really good time.
That's good.
I didn't sleep. Came home at began at back at 6. So I was like, I haven't done this in years. So I gotta.
Yeah,
My
the re-
body was
the
like,
the recuperation, man. The recuperation
yes,
process.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm on that time now myself. As I'm getting older, I realize I'm getting hangovers and all that too. I'm having
I
to
didn't
sleep
even
more,
drink.
drink more water.
I didn't even drink.
Oh,
I did
probably
not
didn't
drink.
sleep.
Did not
You
drink.
probably didn't sleep on time, probably. Or probably didn't sleep pretty good. Did you?
Actually, I didn't sleep at all because I spent all day getting my hair done. So I thought I was gonna catch a nap, didn't. So I went straight from getting my hair done to coming home, getting ready, and then heading out there. So I was up from 8 o'clock Saturday morning, didn't go to sleep till 6 Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And yes, and then only got 3 hours sleep because I got up to hit the road.
Yeah. So it was back to back for you. Yeah, that's probably why. So it wasn't even the drinking. It was literally just the maintenance in terms of like sleeping. Make sure you gotta
Yes.
get your rest and everything.
Yes,
Okay, I like that.
yes, yes,
Like you can
yes. So,
acknowledge that.
so
Okay.
that was it was I don't do it often. Like I said, it's been years, so it really just like this was what it was. But I'm glad. I'm glad I did it. I had a good time.
I mean, you seem to have energy this on Monday morning over here waving and everything. I'm trying to catch up to you. I'm trying to I'm trying
No,
to
I
get you.
took an okay. What I did was I took a nap yesterday afternoon, and I still went to sleep on time because I was my body was still so tired.
Yeah.
Because I had to entertain your sister. So I took her out to get her little knickknacks and trying to pack for them to come to you this weekend.
hmm I know. I know. I know. I got a whole
Say
month. A whole month to deal with
yes.
this. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I went for a nice walk early this morning. So that gave me a lot of energy and I sweated a lot.
Okay,
And
good.
so that was really good.
Okay, so yeah, like that self-care. That self-care got you back on track.
It did.
Yeah.
It
I like
really truly
that.
did.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So, incoming responsibilities. Here comes Mario. Incoming responsibilities. Yep, it don't stop. It don't stop. But okay, so dang, you reminded me too. It's Monday. Damn. Oh man. Anyways, to heal a wound, you have to stop touching it. Right?
Yes.
I wrote a couple notes, of course, for us and everything, so we can kind of have a different viewpoints and topics to bring up about said topic. But before I even start, I actually wanted to ask you, Ma, this quote right here. What does it mean to you?
To me, honestly, to me, and I love this topic. I love, love, love it because I love it a lot because it's personally resonates with me. It does
Mm,
really personally resonate with me. And we are creatures of bad habits, and I'm gonna always say this.
mhm.
But we can always do better because we do know better.
Yeah.
Okay? We tend to hold on and harbor uh, um the past. Yes, our traumas shape us. Our traumas make us, in a sense, but it can also break us because if we allow them to, if we allow them to. And when we get a wound, and this is why, like the metaphor, when we get a wound, we get a scratch, we get a bruise. We don't like to let it heal properly.
Mhm,
Some of us pick at it because it may feel good physically and mentally.
mhm,
Um, which also correlates to um self-mutilation, cutters, people who self-inflict wounds because their traumas are so deeply wounded and deeply affecting them that this, cutting themselves and hurting themselves tends to level out a pain for them where they're emotionally don't want to feel anything, so they rather physically feel it, if that
Oh,
makes any sense.
I was thinking that like it's kind of like a parallel where it's like they almost want to feel physically how bad they feel emotionally in a way.
Yes. And on the flip side too is I'd rather feel it physically
Hmm.
than to have that internal pain, because that
Yeah,
that one
letting
is
it out.
way right. That one is
Yeah.
way more, and at times feeling like I need to, like, that's how I'm letting it out, because I'd rather just hurt myself
Hmm.
physically. And we don't let those wounds heal. We tend to, cutters will go over those marks. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And that's because we don't allow ourselves to heal properly. We
Mm.
don't allow ourselves to heal properly internally, so therefore reflect externally. So instead of, we tend to want to put a band-aid on it. Again, and I'll refer back to cutters. Throw on hoodies, throw on long sleeves so others don't see it, don't see the bruise, don't see the marks. Whether they do let it heal superficially, but those scars still remain. Those scars are still a reminder of the trauma. So when we put those bandages on it, and then when we're in private, we take off the bandage and we go back to picking. We
Mm-hmm.
go back to picking. Again, because that's just a way of making ourselves numb to the pain, numb to emotionally and physically the pain.
Okay.
So we all are going to we all experience some kind of emotional wound, um, trauma in our lives at one point in time. Okay. So those wounds are at times, again, manifested by the negative thoughts. And we hold on, and I can't stress it enough. We hold on, we harbor, we just manifest the negativity so well that we don't allow ourselves to even think that we can overcome traumas,
Hmm.
tribulations, circumstances. So that's why, like, this manifests so well with me, because of the fact that I do this myself. I don't want, or not that I don't want, I'm a creature of bad habit that I tend to hold on to a lot
Yeah.
when I should just be letting go. And it's okay to let go. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that you didn't experience what you experienced. It doesn't mean that it didn't mean anything to you. It's just because when you let it go, you're no longer allowing it to affect you. When you let those wounds heal, you're no longer allowing the scars to constantly be a trigger or reminder to you to have to reopen those wounds, because, hey, I'm not, a lot of times we feel like I'm not deserving of this wound to heal because I'm
Mm.
still, I'm still hurt. I'm still going through it. I'm still, no, it's okay to let it heal. It's okay to allow the wounds internally to heal so that you can start to do the work of growth, going through the process of letting go. And that's the biggest part, is letting go.
Um, I would say I like the scab analogy too because it actually it shows a parallel between the healing process and it actually healing because you don't want once you scab over the physical form is like it itches, you want to irritate, you
Yep.
want to peel it off, you want to get at it, and that leaves that scar, that scarring, you know what I mean? So for me, the revisiting of past traumas and past failures, the negative self-talk, these are all things like obsessing over something, a situation, a
Yes.
person, place, a thing, right? These are all ways of picking in a way. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like the
Mm-hmm.
obsessing, the constantly revisiting the traumas and all that. There's a way of picking at that wound. Now the wound itself is that person, place, or thing, the
Mm-hmm.
trauma, the
Mm-hmm.
failure, whatever it is, right? And honestly, I think the healing process itself is a parallel with because we're talking about mental health right now too. It's a parallel with that emotional processing, right? Allowing us to actually be there and process what's going on, And you mentioned it
In the present,
in the present,
because
right?
we always try to visit the past in the
But
present, leaving the
but
past in the past.
yes, and I've had trouble doing that recently, but I've gotten better with just acknowledging and being aware of the fact that I'm tied to the past.
Hmm.
Now this healing process, how we mentioned and everything. Actually, was going somewhere with the analogy, the healing process and emotionally. Oh yeah, boom! You mentioned the cutter situation. The same way where it's like you don't want to let this situation heal over because almost like the pain almost feels good in a way.
Hmm.
Like it's almost like um allowing yourself to be in that state of mind in a sense where it's like I like the pain. I like to revisit this past trauma because it feels comfortable in a sense where it's like I don't have to grow, and to
Right.
stop me from growing and processing like this emotion, I'm gonna just stick to the person, present thing that's triggering me.
And a lot of
You know?
people too, a lot of people too, just to add to that, they like holding on
Yeah.
to that negativity because they use that as their crutch. They use that as their excuse to play the victim, and preventing themselves, enabling themselves to grow
Mm,
because they've used it so much with others that it worked to their advantage to just stay in that past,
mm.
to just constantly saying, well, I went through this, and nobody's
It's that
thinking about me.
ammunition. Yeah, I'm saying like
Exactly,
yeah,
the
like
guilt,
and
the
yeah,
manipulation,
you know what I mean. And
almost.
it's also for themselves as well. Like
Oh, of
like like
course,
like
it
I don't
works to
have
their
to grow.
advantage.
Yeah, I don't have to grow because I'm still
No one
healing. I'm still dealing with
expects
this.
me. No one expects me to grow. No one expects me to to be mature or to have to move forward because you know what? I went through this,
Mm.
and I'm going to keep reminding them that I went through this. So whenever I mess up or whenever I don't do or live up to expectations or promises that I made,
It
remember I
fits
went
the bill. It fits the bill. Yeah, like
remember I went through this.
yeah.
Remember
Okay.
that's why I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or that's why I'm not doing this, or I haven't progressed, or I haven't. Remember I went through this, so this is still it's that trauma bonding, trauma holding, because it again it just works to their advantage. So living in the
Almost
past.
um dang. I keep losing my train of thought because it was a very good analogy.
Sorry.
But say no. Continue. What were you saying?
Yeah,
No, I
but
got
and it's the living in the past, and for some people, yes, it may work for them, but it's not healthy, and they misunderstand and they misconstrue the information of trying to, in order for you to grow and heal, you have to do the work and you have to leave the past in the past.
so it's boom, here you go, the correlation. So it's almost like I won't fail if I don't try. You know what I mean? And it fits the bill where it's like if I keep messing up,
You don't expect me
hey,
to.
listen, yeah, like I'm still dealing with that last year situation.
Right,
It's like, okay. And we're not trying to be insensitive,
right,
but let it heal.
right,
And sometimes
right.
when it heals over, and whether you have a scar or not, whether it's noticeable or not, that injury, that situation did happen, but you heal from it. So the whole point is to be stronger than the last situation. So my thing is, even if and one thing too, even if a situation heals, some people always revisit that injury. It's almost like getting in a car accident and being scared to drive, but also being scared to drive and expressing it to people. Like I can't do that because I went through this. I understand it's fearful, but hey, listen, you know what I'm saying?
And that's a good analogy because a lot of people that I have known in the past have that same mindset. Oh, I was involved in a car accident. Oh, you know, the cars just seem like they're just doing too much or they're going too far. But you know what? Then you sit there and you expect and rely and depend on others to get you around but you're not fearful to get in the car though, but you're
Mm,
fearful to drive, but you still need to get to where you're going as long as somebody else is
it's a crush.
driving. And that's the thing.
It's a crush.
A
Yeah.
crutch.
Hmm.
And we refuse to do the work as long as we have others who are enabling that crutch,
Yeah.
who are continuously are going to support the fact that you're going to keep using those excuses, you're going to keep using those as a means of you getting out of what you know you need to do in order to progress and grow in life.
Yeah. Ammunition. And but mind you, we like so like before I even continue, I knew like you want to kind of continue your train of thought, but with the scabbing over, I actually had a little note and everything. um the cycle of pain of constantly revisiting that same trauma and obsessing over that topic and everything. I actually wanted to bring that back to like the mental health where it was like it's almost like depression in a sense or is
It
it leading
is
to depression? Obsessing over the same thing.
anxiety.
Mm.
It
Boom.
triggers
There
your
you go.
anxiety. It
Anxiety. Right.
triggers your anxiety. Panic attacks because you're obsessing over something that has happened. We acknowledge that it did happen, but where is the threat? Is the threat current? Is the threat present?
Mm.
But because we ruminate over it, we obsess over it, we overthink it, and now it becomes to the point where now our bodies and our senses are saying, is it near? Is it near? Is it near? Is it near? But it's
Constantly being
not.
on alert. Yeah.
Constantly being on alert, constantly being on guard, constantly being on defense mode. Because you
Mm.
always your thought process is at any given time, at any given time, at any given time. Yep, I'm expecting that. Yep, you're gonna fail me. Yep, the trigger's gonna come. Yep, I'm gonna feel it again.
So that's not even really healing.
It's not.
Even if you do get over that situation and time does pass, it's like constantly still rubbing at it, or how Kevin says the
Put
mosquito bite analogy. You're constantly
putting the
scratching at it, or yeah, like it's like fixation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not
So
healing. That's not healing. You haven't done the work because the threat is not present. The
so
threat is not present, but you constantly overthinking it and fixating on it, you're putting it to the forefront that you're giving it that place where it's gonna continuously remain present.
before I answer this question, I actually want to read the comment. Mario said, humans, male or female, focus on the potential of things happening, whether the results are good or bad. Humans hate reality. Yeah, so we live in our own situation.
We live in our
Like
own
we live in
bubble.
our own. Yeah, yeah.
We
Because we're not
it's
we almost can't. We almost are unwilling to accept what we can't control.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In my
We're
reality,
not. We're not.
like to think about how much we don't control in this world. You know what I mean? So in our reality, we control as much as we can,
Right.
and in our reality, we control more than what it actually
What
is. It's kind of like a
we control more than what it actually is.
yeah, but it's like a illusion in a sense. Like it's a fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like you mentioned healing and healing a lot, like healing, letting it heal. So what is some good strategies towards healing?
Well, let's start with giving yourself grace, and I'm going to always say that
Always,
in every
yeah,
situation you give yourself grace. You allow
every Monday.
yourself, you give yourself that self compassion to understand that you went through a situation, whether or not somebody else understands it, relates to it, accepts it. That was your experience, and that's your experience alone. Don't allow anyone to minimize it, and don't allow anyone to maximize it to the point where it makes you continuously uncomfortable. So
Mm,
allow yourself that grace to say, hey, I went through a situation. Now I could either let it make me or I could let it break me.
mm,
So some of the ways for me that I teach, my clients, meditation. And I'm always telling you guys that
mm-hmm,
meditation, you take that time and you process it. You allow yourself that time to process whatever that you're going through, whatever pain, experience, trauma that was. You allow yourself that. You process it, whether it be with a therapist, with your clergy. I wouldn't suggest the best friend all the time, but
yeah,
I would highly recommend a trained professional. You process that situation to the utmost. You peel those layers and you understand from the bottom layer to the top, and you work your way up as to what you went through, how you're going to be able to overcome it, because you are going to be able to overcome it
mm,
because you've
of
given
course,
yourself grace. You've given yourself time to process. Journaling. Besides the therapist, journaling. I do journaling even in therapy with my members, my clients. Journaling, writing down, because sometimes you're sitting in front of a therapist or you're sitting in front of your whomever, and you're like, oh my god, i I forgot to tell my therapist this, or I forgot to, you know journal it, and then when you go to therapy the next day, then you bring that up. You say, hey, this is something that I was thinking of, or this is the home part of the homework that you gave me, and I had suppressed this thought for so long, and it finally came out because I did my
yeah.
meditation, because I
It's
did
the
my
coming out
processing.
part. It's the coming out part. Sometimes it's all jumbled up in here, and you gotta just get it out and just kind of like lay it out there and kind of like vocalize it, make it real.
Make it
You know
real.
what I mean?
And that's another thing. You accept your truth because it's your truth. Again, with the experience, accept your experience,
Mm-hmm.
but you expect your truth for what it is to you, and you vocalize it and you make it real. You make it real, because if we don't give in therapy again, if you don't give your situation that reality, if you don't make it that reality, if you don't give it that voice, that thought, that, and you continue to suppress it, you're not going to be able to properly process it. So you bring it to the forefront and you understand this is what it is. This is
Mm.
what it was, but it doesn't have to be. It don't have to
Yeah.
continuously drag on into my present nor my future. Because the past is the past for a reason.
Yeah. Can't change it. You can
You
learn
can't
from
you
it.
can't erase it. You can't change it. But we can only learn from the experience, how we're going to prevent it, and what are the steps we're going to take to keep it from repeating itself. That's the big part. Keep it from
Yeah.
repeating
And
itself.
there's a fine line between obsessing and analyzing. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So
Yes. And even sometimes too, we confuse the two, because we wanna justify to ourselves
why
why
we're
we're overthinking and we're stressing over this. Oh no, I'm just analyzing it. No, you've been analyzing it for the past couple months now. Now you're fixated, and now we need
mm,
to figure out how to get that thought out of your head. What do you need to do?
mm,
How did it even, first of all, acknowledging how did it even get there, because what triggered it to be there,
yeah.
and then how we need to get it out.
So I like how almost every mental health Monday like one of the first steps to actually healing or going through something, processing, whatever it is literally giving yourself that grace. Like, listen, you're human.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're gonna make mistakes. We are not God. You know, we're not perfect. We may be made in their image, but we are not them. Right?
No.
So
No.
understand that we make mistakes, understand that this was a momentary lapse in caution or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um just understanding that, listen, like there will be other times too. I'm also reading a book called Change Your Paradigm by Bob Proctor, and one of the things he was saying was that like understanding that there will be other situations. You're obsessing over
Yes.
this, like you're gonna basically get over this one situation and then find something else to obsess over. So understand the trigger, how you said, like how did I get here? So that when it happens again, you know, oh shoot, last time I got to this place in my life because I kept doing this same
Mm-hmm.
behavioral pattern, the paradigm, right? The habits that are done subconsciously over time.
Yep.
So changing the mindset, understanding that things will happen, and after the situation, there will be more, right? And just analyzing it, like a what do you call it, like a formula,
Yep.
knowing 1 + 1 = 2. What is the 1 + 1?
And that's
Right?
what's great with journaling, because a lot of times, because the mind is so overwhelmed and bombarded with information and memories and experiences, journaling is a great way, because then you could always go back. You could always go back and say, "Hey, I remember there was a time. What did I do? What did I use? What were some
I
of the
felt the
skills that
same
I?"
way.
I
I
don't feel
felt,
right.
I felt
Right.
the same way. Yeah,
Now, and then we go back to that time and see, what was, and then the journaling too is, you see how far you've come. You
yeah,
see
yeah.
how far you've come. So it's a great way to also further support yourself in your process, in your journey of saying, "Hey, I went through this and I overcame that situation. I'm going to overcome any other situation because I've
So
been there before."
when should we go back and like we read our journals or go back and think about the meditation and the prayers that we gave and all that?
Going back to read your journal, I would not suggest it for a very long time after you've been in therapy, after you've been processing your
Hmm.
situations and your traumas, only because it could have like a adverse effect as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to re-trigger yourself because you're not fully healed and you're not fully overcoming. You haven't overcome the situation. So we don't want to keep reminding ourselves. When you make 2 steps forward and you want to 10 steps
Okay.
back. We
So
don't want to do that.
so it's not
But
a
we do
time frame.
want. Right,
Okay.
right. When you'll know when it's like no longer affects you the way
Right.
it used to affect you. Even when the thought comes to you, the process, the thought comes to your mind, you're like, oh, or you stumble upon it, you're like, Oh, okay. Well, that was an experience. Yeah. Bad time. Whew, glad I'm over that.
So just
Or glad I processed that.
just go through the journey. Don't think about the time when it'll be finished. Just go through it, and then when you overcome it, then look back and say, okay, how far did I come?
I
You know what I'm saying?
never said, and I always say there's never, there is a finish line, however that looks for anybody, because sometimes you may think you may put the line right here, and then
Hmm.
you feel like, oh, this happened. Because you are allowed to relapse. You are allowed to go, to have those moments. You just don't want to dwell and stay in those moments for too long.
Yeah,
But you are allowed to have those moments. So you kind of like want to push the line and push the line a little further for you to encourage you to move a little, to do the work, and get
do
closer
the
to it.
work. Okay.
Um, is is it no touching? What?
Oh, is it no touching it too close to sweeping it under the rug?
No touching. Please elaborate on that for me.
The the wound, like don't constantly revisit the same trauma or the same past failure or negative self talk because and what he's saying in a sense is if I don't think about it or deal with it, how am I really like
Well, your
healing?
your scars are always gonna it's always gonna be a reminder of what you went through. That you can't take away. Some have visible scars and some have some that are not
Oh,
visible to others.
I see what he's saying. The reason we say don't touch, we're talking about touching in a sense of, when someone goes through things like the things and they fixate on something or they obsess over it to the point where they just keep mentioning the same thing. Like there's no
Hmm.
solution, there's no change in the situation. You're saying the same thing. That's where it's like constantly picking at it. Like for example, a girlfriend broke up with you. Oh my god, I'm so sad. Da 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 da. Get past the picking of of your partner leaving you, and get to the point of self improvement. Like I'm not
Well,
telling you to neglect that. Sorry, go ahead.
right, and I think I understand. Okay, so not touching it. You're when you are emotional or passionate about something, there's no way you're not going to touch it. There's no way, especially if it's fresh and it's new.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself grace, give yourself time. As long as you have the support of whoever you're expressing it to, where that person is not minimizing your feelings or disregarding you, where you feel like, okay, well, I'm bringing my feelings to this person, and they keep like, get over it already. Like, okay, she left you. Okay, you broke up. Big deal. People break up all the time. As long as you're not around that and you have people who are supportive enough to want to listen when you do want to vent, because you're going through a situation. For you, it's a
And
lot.
and
So
you may also relapse, how you mentioned too. You
right, you
may
may
go back to
also
that same.
relapse.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you have to allow yourself grace again, and you have to be mindful of the environment that you are in or putting yourself in to heal. You
Okay.
can't put yourself in an environment that is not supportive or conducive of your growth in your healing
Ooh,
process,
I have a
because
good.
they want to
Sorry.
kick you while you're down. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be in a supportive environment that helps you grow in that process of saying, hey, I'm going through something, and I know that you could, if where are you mentally to help me process this?
Mm.
Because, I need that.
I hear you, Rose. However, he said, however, is a degree of emotional detachment healthy so that you lose the desire to touch the healing wound?
Um,
Um,
eh,
I would say
eh,
like this, because when you have a wound, right? Like I used to scrape my elbows a lot as a
oh
kid
yeah,
or my knees,
oh
right?
yeah.
When you're like you don't pick at the scab, you could put the neosporin around it, right? That's a way of treating it. Meditation, neosporin, right? You could put a band-aid over it, journaling. Like there's things you could do towards the healing, but not constantly sitting in that guilt, that shame, that sadness. Um, Not constantly letting that situation constantly replay in your mind. Now, I do see what you mean when you say the emotional detachment. Is it healthy to lose desire and touching the healing wound? I wouldn't call it emotional detachment.
Yes, that's what
I
I
would
was gonna
call it
say.
almost like almost like you're conscious. You're conscious
Yeah,
of the wound healing.
the desire to move on, the desire to not dwell in the same the same situation. Emotionally detaching from a situation is it's not gonna always end up to be a healthy, because you still didn't process, you still didn't deal with the situation.
Hmm.
You just emotionally detached because that was your defense mechanism. It was easier for you to emotionally detach than to actually process and deal with it. So that's why I say to you, it's always best to process it, peel those layers off, and then decide to move on, let go, heal from it. So you're not having to revisit or thinking like, dang, I didn't all the way process this because this is still a problem for me. This is still lingering for me. So you have to be able to peel the different layers in order for it not to be a problem that's going to continuously affect you in a negative way.
That's almost like opposite what you're trying to say. 'Cause I feel like it's more emotional awareness. Like you are
Yes,
aware of this situation
you're
and you're emotionally
conscious of
mature.
it.
You're like you're
Yes,
mature enough to say, you know what, I'm going to let it heal. You're not gonna say, oh, I don't care enough,
right,
or I'm gonna just like what's the word, like detach from it. I'm gonna just leave it alone,
right.
and it's not. No, just deal with it, because next time it happens, you just constantly like just detach from it. That's where kind of I would say it refers to what RVP boxing was saying, how like it's kind of like sweeping under the rug. I feel like the emotional detachment is parallel to sweeping under the
I
rug. You gotta
love
deal
what
with it.
Mario said. I
Yeah,
love that. I just read that Neosporin and Band-Aid acknowledgement and basic care.
yeah.
I just love you on these lives
No,
because
no.
you just be
What I saw he has
you
a book. I
just
saw he has a book or something like that. He just kind of know
you,
what is the good situation. Let me just
you
copy
gotta
paste this.
put that, you gotta pin that just so you can
Let
add
me
that to your
let me take a little picture of
it,
that.
like, and
I like.
it like, in simple terms, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You have to be aware, and then you have to apply the basic care in order for you to be able to process your situations and heal
Mhm.
and be a healthy individual, whatever that looks like for you. And if that means you need to emotionally detach from certain things, that's if that's what's best for you after you process and heal,
Okay.
by all means, because that means that situation is no longer affecting you again in a negative. That person, place, or thing cannot affect your moods, cannot affect your mental state, cannot affect the way your behaviors, because you
That
are no longer attached to it.
and us knowing Mario's personality as well, we know that his healing process is leading to the emotional attachment. Like, oh, now I don't care.
Exactly.
Like now it's like you like obviously you care about it. If you're I don't care, I don't care. Then why
Right.
are you responding to it? You know what I'm saying? But me knowing Mario and his personality, he's leading to that emotional detachment. So that's the end goal right there. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Leaving it alone, not being affected by not letting it
Exactly.
affect your emotions or have control of said emotions.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
That was a lot, mom. That was
Love
I like that.
it.
Yeah, I like that.
I missed last week, and
That was good.
God darn IG. But this is definitely,
No.
and I want us to start doing. And I was supposed to do it today, unfortunately, but I want us to start going live on TikTok as well, and
Okay.
sharing these on TikTok. Maybe trying to do it like at the same time, because I
They,
want that audience to kind of
they have a
see it as
rule
well.
or something like that about like you need a certain amount of followers or something like that. And it
I
mind
have
you,
like over. I think it's they have to have over 1,000
yeah.
followers.
So you could definitely do that. I could just add myself onto
Yeah, so I
yeah,
would like to do that. Because for those who are on TikTok, not able to, some people are more on TikTok than they are on IG. But I
yeah,
love my IG people. This is where it started. It gave Justice and I a memory a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
We didn't even realize how long we've been doing this, and this is how much this is a passion for both of us, and in conversation as well. I think the regulars, I think those who always try to get in because of work and the time. Thank you so much for your support.
for
And
sure.
if there's anything, again, please DM me, message me, message Justice. We enjoy this. We enjoy the conversation. And I thank you guys so much for always being a part and being available.
Yeah, I like that. And we do have a regulars, and we have some people that kind of peek in, show their support, give a little bit of value, and then go about their day. And that's really honestly, we're trying to like lean more because like we know that social media has two sides to it, the
Mhm.
negative and the positive. We're trying to lean more towards the positive side, and just provide more value to people. Just
Yep.
like brighten up people's day every now and then, and understanding that a part of maturing is also a part of, what I mean, going through mental, physical, spiritual situations, healing from them, getting stronger, and we just want to be a part of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, Mama. Hey, this one add before we leave.
No, that's great. I like the closing.
Oh, that was good. That was very, very good. But, I'm gonna have to write down a thought in the captions. Make sure
Yes.
everyone and people who missed it, what I mean, they can just go on the captions and read the little notes and all that.
Yes.
Value, you know. Thank you everyone for coming. That was amazing. It was definitely a personal topic. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because I get it from my mother as well. I obsess over things. I just
Very
constantly
much an
dwell.
overthinker.
Yeah. So
We have to do better. We have to do better.
we have been. I will say that, Mom. We definitely have been. But thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you guys same time next week. Mental Health Monday, Mental Health Live, right? 12 p.m. Ma, thank you again for all the value you gave me.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Take care. Love y'all.
Love you.